Hyperpo is pleased to present 40 Days 40 FinTechs, an initiative under its Include Everyone program, as it continues to lead the way in advocacy for the creation and dissemination of technology that enables financial inclusivity. The 40 Days 40 FinTechs is shining a spotlight on those that are breaking down digital barriers and bringing millions more on the continent into the transactional space and transforming their lives for the better.
Kanzu Code is a tech company that builds inclusive financial solutions for businesses and communities, both locally and around the world. And for the 8 years that we've been in existence, we've had the opportunity to serve clients in various parts of the world. We've built custom solutions, that's websites, that's mobile applications. We've enhanced platforms for customers such as NSSF, MTN, and we've also provided support for them and also other clients in other parts of the world. And specifically in financial inclusion, we have a product called Kanzu Banking, our flagship product, that helps rural members of society benefit from financial services. It's a core banking platform that helps saving and credit cooperatives, more commonly known as Saccos. It helps investment clubs, and also helps money lending institutions manage their finances very easily. So these institutions will typically use manual ledgers, books really, to keep track of who is saving with them, who has taken a loan. And that is very hectic work in terms of trying to make sure that your transactions are up to date, monitor the health of your Sacco, but even more importantly, get access to credit from an external institution. Because if they come in and say, we want to verify your records, if you need to pull out a stack of books, it just becomes very, very difficult to evaluate your health as an institution. So our platform helps these institutions manage all of that seamlessly in a simple, easy to use interface that makes it very easy for them also to be evaluated on their viability as entities to invest in. Over the years of our existence, we've served, generally in building tools and platform, we've served well over 100 customers in various parts of the world. A big substantial percentage of those, well over 80%, have been in the US. Locally though, with our flagship product, with Kanzu Banking, we are currently serving over 2,000 end users on our platform. Though right now we are currently in the process of onboarding well over 500 Saccos through a partnership we have with a bank. So we're going all over the country and doing that onboarding. Kanzu Banking is helping women and youth in the sense that women, we've noticed, and statistics stand to speak to this, generally are very, very involved in savings and in getting loans for their small and micro businesses. So women in rural areas are saving a lot with Saccos. You'll find that the constitution of typical Saccos is well over 60% ladies, and these are saving on a regular, weekly, monthly, and then they're getting access to credit. Because many of them don't have the profile that would allow them get credit from formal, traditional financial institutions like banks. So they are 5 times more likely to get a loan to help their business, to boost income at home, to pay for something here and there. They are 5 times more likely to get that loan facility, that credit, from a Sacco or Village and Loan Savings Association. So our product, our offering, is in many ways a lifeline, making it possible for them to get credit easily, securely, and also with the comfort that their money is being tracked and is being tracked in a system. So they have that comfort as they go about working and also saving. In terms of level 1 principles, we've gone as far as is possible and practical given some of the scenarios. So while we have a product, our product is serving, in essence, financial institutions, because Saccos, investment clubs, MFIs, money lending institutions are financial institutions in a sense. So through our offering, we've been able to make it possible for some of these level 1 principles to be implemented. One of the ones is, for example, tiered KYC. Some money lending institutions allow you to provide certain information and then get access to certain credit facilities. Some Saccos also, when you initially join, they will require just certain information. That's a subset of what would typically be required in, say, a traditional institution like a bank. So there's a bit of tiered KYC available there. There's also a bit of some same-day settlement, because prior to using a solution like ours, you'd have challenges where you apply for a facility and it takes a bit of time before you can get access to it. So a system like ours has made some of those aspects possible. There are still some, though, that are still out of reach, given the rules around some of these institutions. So not all of them will go the tiered KYC route. Not all of them will embrace same-day settlement, because some facilities will need a bit more, might not have the float to start with to be able to make that happen. Some might need to get that money from somewhere else, and there are delays in that transfer. So it's not all rosy yet, but I believe with using a platform like ours, a number of steps in moving along that journey. As an industry, we are still in the infant stage, so to speak. A lot of building blocks are slowly coming together, and you can also see a number of players coming into the space. We have players that have also pivoted, or in many ways their business models have just become a bit more pronounced into the fintech space. So we have, for example, a bit happening in the payment space, but I would say we're still in the infant stage, because there are still opportunities, areas that haven't yet been digitized. For example, the savings space, just as an example, there are still a lot of opportunities to give people digital platforms that will allow them to earn an interest, to make micro savings. There's also, even in the lending space, the micro lending space still has areas that can be explored. In fintech, you can also look at the insurance space. Micro insurance opportunities haven't yet been explored to the extent that they possibly could. Smallholder farmers have access to some insurance facilities, but then they are not yet as widely accessible as they could be. If you're to look at even much further down the road, if we are to look higher up the tier, the crypto space, stepping into Web3 technologies, even just stepping away from the traditional aspects, stepping into the aspects that I won't call them future, because they're already here and are happening in a lot more robust way in other markets. I think that's also another place that offers opportunity, because it brings in lower costs, brings in decentralization. So the opportunities whenever you speak of such trends. In terms of challenges, one, we live in the cost of internet to start with is still a bit up there. We also have the overarching challenge that, if the internet is shut down, then several businesses are simultaneously crunch to a halt. So that's an overarching challenge. There are still a few regulatory issues, some policies that make it a bit hard to work. Just recently, for example, the BOU had something that was released around the crypto space that made generally that area of work a bit difficult. So the challenges, I would speak to the infrastructure, and that's the cost of internet, accessibility of internet in certain places, and then I'll speak to the regulatory aspects. Those are the ones that come to mind. One of the really big things 40 Days 40 Fintechs is doing is it's raising awareness, because in some places, especially for some of the work that I do, where you're going to rural areas and talking to what we refer to as Omuntu Awansi, tech in some ways is still a pie in the sky. It's still really out there. And it's really a good thing to have a platform like this where we are showcasing regional entities that are doing things in this space. Because as these stories are shared, people relate with stories. People relate with a story that Mama Kimunyu, Mama Karofio in Kenya, or Mama Nakaunde in Luwero used this platform, and it allowed her to get access to credit very easily. It allowed her to expand her farm. It allowed her to, start a chicken business. So people relate with these stories, and they start to see the power of technology for them, because they'll connect. As more and more stories come to the fore, everyone finds a story they can connect with. And the more we can make those dots connect, the more we can see the value, the benefit of technology, not just the social media aspect, not just looking at what WhatsApp and all these things are doing for us. The more we can see financial technology and what it's doing across the region and can relate with it, the more we can yearn to adopt it, and then the more the developers, the financiers, the people involved in this system will actually put out more. And also the more the regulators will start to see some of the things that can be done a bit differently. One of the things that the platform can do a bit differently, I feel it's already doing, because I know this is season 3, and the prior 2 seasons focused primarily on Uganda, but now it's breaking out into other regions. I think that's a really, really key thing, that now stories are being showcased in various parts of the continent. The only bit I would add to that is making this, having the stories cut across the various aspects of financial technology. Many times when that term is used, what usually comes to mind is the payment space, P2P. But I think as we broaden the conversation into all the other areas that financial technology is making a difference in insurance, in what it can do in savings, what it can do along all these different spaces, making even the technology of the, I won't call it the future, but Web3, making it accessible with some use cases that we are seeing in different parts of the region. The more that this conversation is at the front of our minds, and the more we can actually adopt these things and push the field forward. We can be accessed online. Our site is kanzucode.com, and there you can learn a bit more about us. There you can try out Kanzu Banking. If you are in an investment club, a Sacco, or run a money lending business, you need a platform like this to take you from where you are to the next level in managing your financial portfolio and just making it easy to just run that entire entity. So kanzucode.com, right there you'd find a lot more about Kanzu Banking. You'd reach out to us and we'll get back to you and help change your financial story.
40 Days 40 FinTechs is presented in proud partnership with Crossleg Technologies, Modus Box, Modulo Foundation, and Level 1 Projects.